Welcome back to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen. I'm joined by my friend Jeff Harvey, who's Director of Planning and Zoning in Stafford County. We're talking about the comprehensive plan and sort of the whole idea of growth and development and how do you sort of deal with that and plan for that. So as we move forward, one element of how we're doing the update and the comprehensive plan is to try to get public input. And so what steps have been taken and what ways are there that people can have input into this?
Well, the Planning Commission has a committee that's been working on the project. And they've had a number of public meetings that have been open for people to come in and comment at. Also, we had two meetings where we went out to the community specifically to various schools, and we invited people to come and solicit their input. And we did a mapping exercise to try to get an idea what the citizens' vision for the future is.
And if memory serves me, that the public can actually see those maps on the county website.
Correct. We've put them up on the web page, and we also have a request for anyone to submit comments. They can do so by email.
And it was rather interesting because there's different ways that you could do it. I mean, you could have we come up with a plan and then go to the public and say, what do you think? Or you did what you did, which was sort of have forums where the public can come in and give it, look at the maps and sort of draw circles and draw lines and look at it and really give input rather than just sort of feedback.
Yeah, we thought it was important to get that kind of level of feedback. What we did with the mapping exercise, we had different colored dots, and the dots represented different types of land uses, single-family homes, apartments, commercial space, etc. And the people were able to locate the dots on the map, showing the road network, and also showing existing developments that are already on the ground, plus ones that have been approved that haven't been built yet. So they could see where there's a chance to potentially put new growth and development.
One of the elements that you were sort of looking at is that if you don't put the growth into the certain areas, then it's going to go out in the rural areas. And that sort of has its own sort of issues that are involved with that.
Yes, the comprehensive plan currently recommends that 80% of our growth be in the urban services area. As you can kind of see on the urban services area map, it encompasses about a third of the county. But most of the county is agriculturally zoned and is more rural in nature. The concerns that there are with rural development is that the zoning category requires a large lot size, and land area can be absorbed for residential subdivisions pretty quickly due to that large lot size.
And there's sort of this conflict, and on the Planning Commission we hear this from the people a lot, that they move here for the rural nature of the county, and then the concern is that if you don't try to come up with policies, the ordinances, the policies, the things that entice people to go in that area, the USA, then they are going to gobble up the rural area.
Yes, and then it also has an effect on our future for development in the county as well. As we've seen in places like Fairfax County, is large lot developments have occurred over time. There's a demand for more housing, so what happens is some of those large lots end up converting into new residential projects at some point in time in the future. But it makes it harder for development because trying to acquire multiple small tracts of land is more difficult than acquiring a large tract of land.
And Stafford has this sort of an interesting situation where a large portion of the county is governed by Quantico.
Yes. About 22% of the total land area is occupied by Quantico.
And then we have the Crow's Nest area, which is another large area that is now basically a part of it is a park. And then you go up to some parts up in Widewater.
Yes, there's Widewater State Park and then Crow's Nest Nature Preserve. Those are two large significant areas of the county that are great because they're going to be preserved for all the residents of the county and the citizens of the Commonwealth, but also have some constraints on what can be built around them and near them and how they affect the road network.
And as you said, with the road network, and I know you have a map of the transportation network, one of the issues if you put more homes out in the rural areas is that the road network is really not there to sustain it.
Yes, most of the roads in the county were created in the 30s and 40s, so there's narrow two-lane windy roads. The county has spent a lot of money and effort to try to improve those roads and make them wider with VDOT's help. But the county's main focus is trying to put most of the public improvements where most of the people live. So that's where they focus most of the attention towards the urban services area.
And besides, so people can have input by going to various meetings. They could contact your office. They could go on the website and the county website, and it's fairly user-friendly. I think it's even right on the main page. There's a way to look to the.
Yes, there's references throughout the website. Also, too, they can contact planning commissioners directly if they want, because their information's on the website as well.
Yep, and those planning commissioners are usually very friendly and helpful.
Yes, indeed.
We have time, so there's a new piece of legislation that's going through the Virginia legislature that has to deal with proffers. So if you could sort of let us know what are proffers, and then what is this legislation and how it might impact.
Sure. Proffers are a tool that General Assembly has given localities as a means to offset impacts of development. Most of the time, people, when they think of proffers, are thinking of money for capital facilities like schools and roads, things of that nature. But also proffers can be restrictions on how a property is used or the timing of when a property is used or developed. Sometimes we get proffers for buffers, which separate uses that may not be compatible and provide protections to existing neighborhoods. This new legislation is being proposed. It's currently going through the General Assembly. It was initiated by the Home Builders Association. It has a number of issues with it as far as trying to restrict the locality's ability to collect proffers.
And it's passed the House, as we're doing the taping, it's passed the House in one version, passed the Senate in another version. But it would really, from what I gather, the various boards could not sit there and say, I reject it solely because of your proffers are lower than what we expect them to be.
Yes, and there's case law to that effect already where a locality cannot reject a development project because the developer is not offering enough money to the locality.
Right, and I know we have about a minute left. Spotsy, Stafford, everybody else sort of comes up with proper guidelines of how much they think the impact would be, how many kids, how many roads, and et cetera.
Yes, and those guidelines are based on studies associated with existing neighborhoods as well as cost projections for what it would take to build a new school or fire station or things of that nature. And their guidelines, they are for the purpose of beginning the discussion, is this is what our expectations are.
Right, and our expectation is that you've learned a lot about the comprehensive plan and that you'll come back again to Rappahannock issues as we look at more issues that are facing our area and basically the growth and issues that are really confronting us and dealing with it. So come back to Rappahannock issues. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to Jeff Harvey.